If you are or you have been in a relationship with a narcissist, chances are you already know how difficult it is to go through that type of psychological abuse. We all know that going through a relationship with a narcissist can be one of the most painful things in our lives. But we also know that a lot of people are still stuck in those relationships. So I've got good news for you today, and I've got bad news. So do you want the good news first or the bad news? Let's go ahead and start with the bad news. The bad news is that, according to studies, narcissistic abuse causes actual brain damage. And this is true regardless of who the relationship is with, whether it's a parent or it's a spouse or it's a partner of any sort. Sometimes even people in your workplace can cause you to feel that way. In fact, I would say that due to the pervasive nature of narcissistic abuse, most people find themselves feeling almost like they're not human. And yet so many are stuck in these relationships. The good news is that it can be repaired, according to neuroscientists, thanks to their studies in recent years. So that's what we're talking about today at queenbeing.com. Let's get started. My name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's get going. If you've been watching my videos or anyone else's videos on this topic for long, you already know about CPTSD, and you already know about PTSD, and you know about the possibilities of what can happen to you based on those things. But because of the fact that PTSD and CPTSD are considered to be emotional disorders, most people don't take it that seriously. They don't really see how important it is to get away from a narcissist. But emotional and psychological distress is really just one side of this multifaceted thing we call narcissistic abuse. So let's talk about the brain damage factor. Well, this is all part of a concept that in recent years neuroscientists have been discussing, and it's called neuroplasticity. So let's just start right here and talk about neuroplasticity. Take a look.
One of the best ways to control your mind and eliminate negative self-talk is daily meditation. It requires that you focus on your breathing while being mindful of what goes on in your mind without any judgment. Meditation causes you to focus your attention in very specific ways and to block out the distractions from the outside world. Ultimately, this means that your mind is going to be stronger, more alert, and better performing thanks to this practice. But why does it work so well? Well, to put it quite simply, it's just one way you can increase the levels of neurotransmitters and connections in your brain. What does that mean? The latest research shows that when you meditate, you are actively changing the structure of your brain through what's called neuroplasticity. So let's talk about that a little bit. What is neuroplasticity? Until fairly recently, scientists always thought that the brain stops developing after a certain age, usually during the teenage years. But in recent years, neuroscientists have discovered that our brains continue to reshape themselves over the course of our entire lifetime, as long as we keep feeding it new information. Each time you learn something new, your mind sort of activates and your brain creates new connections. The new connections change the overall structure of the engaged part of your brain. This phenomenon is what we call neuroplasticity, and its applications transcend learning new things to compensating for traumatic injuries and disease. So how do you activate your brain? Well, it's easier than you might think to get neuroplasticity working for you. Learning something new systematizes your mind and helps you to grow intellectually. So when you meditate, for example, you're going to be building new pathways, resulting in your mind learning how to relax when you're dealing with stressful situations. Practicing mindful meditation for the long term helps to increase that gray matter in your brain, which is what's responsible for allowing you to make better decisions that are more in tune with your emotions. But what about negativity? How does that affect your brain? That, unfortunately, is a downside to neuroplasticity. According to researchers, your brain rewires itself for negativity when faced with any sort of repeated trauma in your life, and this includes narcissistic abuse. That's because neural pathways form to accommodate what's happening in your life, and when you're constantly trying to manage the stress and personal torment that comes with being in any sort of relationship with a narcissist, well, you're probably not feeling very positive. And whether you just stress out about it silently or you vent to a friend, it changes the way your brain works. Before you know it, these mental habits become ingrained into your neural functioning. This makes it easier to come back to these patterns again and again. Chronic complaints, for example, negativity in general, have also proven to shrink the hippocampus, the part of the brain that's responsible for problem solving, and to increase the hormone cortisol, which is very well known as the stress hormone. Cortisol affects a wide range of bodily functions, including regulation of blood pressure, memory formulation, metabolism, inflammation, blood pressure, weight, blood sugar, and immune system.
bottom line, there's a lot more to this, but what it all comes down to is that your brain, it can change. It can be damaged and you can repair it thanks to this neuroplasticity factor. No longer are we relegated to live with the brains we developed as teenagers. That means a lot of really good things for us, my friend. So this brings me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is, have you ever heard of neuroplasticity? Have you used it to your advantage yet? And if not, are you ready to try it? Stay tuned, because tomorrow we're going to talk exactly about that, what we can do with neuroplasticity to start to change our lives for the better. So stick with me. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's a great time to do it. Don't forget to hit the bell notification so you'll be notified each time I upload and when I go live in the morning. All right, that's all I've got for you right now. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. Make sure you check out those videos that I've left for you in the cards above and right here and right here. They're going to help you to connect and dig a little deeper in your own recovery. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there so we can stay connected and go through this journey of recovery together. Now, don't forget, you're never alone. You always have your family. I'll see you soon.